All right. Hey, I'm Greg McIntyre, the elder law guy, and I'm here with Cecil Burton, who's a longtime friend of mine and owner of Cecil Burton's Funeral Home. Is that the exact correct name? Cecil M. Burton Funeral Home and Crematory. I wanted to get it exactly correct. That's a mouthful. And Cecil's been in this, I guess, area of practice or for years and years and years, and I'll let him tell you about that. But I wanted to talk about pre-needs funeral planning, the importance of it, why it's an important part of planning as you age, to go ahead and prepay your funeral. And even if you don't, why this is a great place to come for your family. But anyway, without further ado, let me flip it around to see. Cecil, how long have you been in the funeral business?
I've been close to 40 years.
40 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 40 years old.
And I'm 30. I was only when you were born. And I'm third generation in the business.
Okay, so third generation. So you know it in and out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Grew up in it.
Grew up in it. That's pretty interesting. I wonder if any of my kids are going to be lawyers or not. We'll see. Hopefully I'm a good example. Okay. So why is it important to choose the right person to do your funeral planning and to do pre-needs funeral planning?
Well, it's essential that you pick the right funeral home, because we're just like any profession. We have our good people and our bad people. 90% of them all are good. They all do a good job. But you need to go and inspect the facilities and make sure that the people have the licenses and they're certified to do pre-plan, because in the state of North Carolina, you have to have a license to do pre-planned funerals, and also be a licensed funeral director. You have to have 2 licenses to be able to do pre-plan your funeral. We have a lot of people who are pre-planning their funeral now that just for Medicaid reasons spend down. We put the money into an insurance trust where it gets interest on your money, but it's tax-free interest. We have some people who just want to pick out their stuff and lock in the price, and we do that too. You can pick out your stuff, lock in the price, and it doesn't matter how long it is, it's taken care of. And we have a lot of people do that.
Okay. And just to be clear as well, if you've heard me talk about planning to pay for long-term care and that being an issue, I see people on a regular basis who may have a family member who needs long-term care, or there's an upcoming need for long-term care, and they're looking at how to spend down their money, or the correct way to spend their money, so that maybe it doesn't all go to the government, or the house doesn't get snatched, and we want to save the home. One great way, that's just an old school really way under the Medicaid rules in North Carolina and other states, is to go ahead and prepay funeral expenses for a reasonable amount, $10,000, $15,000, okay? To go ahead and prepay and lock that in. Not only can you lock in price, but also that's off the table as far as Medicaid collections, and when looking at whether Medicaid's going to approve to pay for long-term care. So all the time when I'm meeting with clients, I'll tell them, some of them will already have a funeral home in mind or someone they've dealt with in the past, but it's just so important to find somebody that's reputable and somebody that operates clearly under the state rules, so that you're doing proper planning with your money. And there's just a number of benefits to doing that. If you ever have any questions, call my office or call Cecil Burton, okay? And if people needed to reach you, Cecil, how would they get in touch with you?
Well, they can just dial us at the funeral home, 704-480-8383.
So I'm interested. You said you're third. Did you say third generation?
Third generation.
That means your father did the same thing?
No, my grandfather.
Grandfather, okay.
And my mother and myself.
Your grandfather, your mother, and yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And just tell me a little bit about, you've told me, we've met, I think we sat down maybe at Taco Bell and had a conversation about a year ago or so about business and education and other things. And Where did you go to school? How did you get licensed to do this?
I attended Gupton Jones College of Mortuary Science in Atlanta.
Atlanta, I thought it was Atlanta. Okay.
And got my funeral director and embalming license.
Okay.
So I'm both an embalmer and a funeral director. And then after coming back, I got my pre-need license, and then when I opened up my own crematory about 6 years ago, I got my crematory license so I could be certified a crematory operator.
Okay, and that's for cremation.
For cremations.
Okay. Yes, and would people people will take their family members with them sometimes. You see that, or is there a place to have them? I guess interred.
Yeah, you can. There's some places have. You can have some churches have columbariums that you can inter.
Sure.
There's some people have family plots they can inter, and some people prefer to scatter them at the ocean, the mountains, or the favorite lake. And some people decide they want to earn and keep them at the house. Right.
Absolutely. Okay. So I know you've handled funerals for my family, for many families in this area in Cleveland County, and just to dispel the myths of a funeral home, things like that. It can really be, in my mind, it's almost a ministry. You're meeting and greeting people and families and helping them through an extremely important time in their lives. Wouldn't you say so?
Important and difficult. Our goal is to help them. It is a ministry. That's how we see our occupation as a ministry.
Okay.
And what we want to do is help the family, guide them through through the process, but also celebrate the life and honor the person who's passed away, and help the family honor them and honor the life that lived. And that's what we try to do, and help them on the step of the way, go through all the steps through the process.
Okay. If somebody comes to you and says, McIntyre over there at McIntyre Elder Law told me to come over here, and I needed to do a pre-needs funeral plan. What would you go through the steps? What would you do for them?
Well, we'd find out what their needs were. If they just need to spend money down, or they might have brothers or sisters that are off, and they want to be in the process of picking out the casket or the vault or the cremation, and they can't be here. Sometimes people want to just put money aside.
Right.
And we put that into a trust. We trust 100% of the money. We don't keep any of it out. That way the money will get interest, tax-free interest, until the person passes away. Now, for Medicare, it has to be an irrevocable trust.
For Medicaid.
For Medicaid.
Yes.
It has to be irrevocable.
For long-term care Medicaid, it has to be put in an irrevocable
trust. Means you cannot get the money out.
They divorce themselves totally from that money.
They can't get the money after that person dies.
Right.
But anyway, the money will sit and get interest, and then when something does happen, they have the principal plus interest to pick out the casket, the vault, or cremation services, where the brothers and sisters could be in on.
Sure.
Now, we have some people who the brothers and sisters are local, and they want to go ahead and come in and pick out the casket and the vault or the cremation service and go ahead and pay for it and lock in the price. We do it that way also. And that's called inflation proof. Inflation proof means you're locking in the price. If you just put money in, it's called a standard contract. There's two different contracts. Either inflation proof, which you lock in the price, and a standard.
Right.
And both of them for Medicaid has to be irrevocable.
Okay.
But if you're not doing Medicaid, you can always make it revocable, meaning you can come get the money out anytime you want.
Sure.
Interest plus the principal.
But it's still your money. It's still accountable asset under the Medicaid long-term care payment rules.
Yeah.
And you would have to deal with that aspect of it.
Right.
Yeah.
But one thing about a revocable contract, you can always down the road make it irrevocable.
You could just roll it over.
You could roll it over into irrevocable trust. But irrevocable, you cannot roll it back to irrevocable. I mean, it was irrevocable, you can't revoke it.
That's right.
Unless you get a judge uptown to do it.
To revoke the trust, or that's just, But
you'd have to hire you and a judge to get it, break it, and usually it'll cost more than what's in the trust.
Yeah, could be, but I don't think you'd want to get it back at that point, because when you're doing that kind of planning, and then it's just going to go. It's going to be gone or deny benefits because you're doing that for benefits planning usually. Yeah. So I just wanted to be clear. This is a great benefits planning tool for long-term care Medicaid planning, and for the individual who may be watching, who's a senior, or reading, however you get the content material. as a senior. Just if you're watching as a senior, then you need to understand that this is going to think about how much of a burden it will take off of your children, everybody else in the family, if you go ahead and take care of this, and the family can be involved. So it's just a great planning tool. I have people that do it all the time. So Cecil, would it be possible for us to go take a quick look around?
Sure.
Okay. Go ahead and handle your business, man. Do whatever you got to do.
I think one thing the people that are putting their money in the trust is reputable. Do their due diligence and make sure it's
make sure that the home and the person they're dealing with is reputable.
Also, because we've had some instances where money has been missing.
Right.
You've seen that in the papers before. Every once in a while, you'll see one in the paper where the funeral home didn't put it in a trust and they were using it to keep their business up, and that could be dangerous. You lose your money that way. So you want to make sure you're reputable, and also that it's in a trust and registered with the state of North Carolina. Because every trust we do with the state of North Carolina, when we register with the state, you'll get a letter from the state saying that we registered with them.
Right. So you know that it's registered.
If you don't get a letter, then you better be calling the state board. Want to know why you have not received a letter on the
Absolutely.
Trust. So that's a little safety catch.
Good deal. This place is just beautiful, by the way. You know that. So we can walk through just a little bit on the inside. Now is this an old home place?
Yes, old home place. There's a home, and we turned it into a funeral home. I like the old homes. I grew up when the funeral homes were homes.
Right.
And I wanted to keep that tradition.
Well, you live in a historic area of town too, right? Kind of historic houses.
In a nutshell, Miss Ann was a woman of strength. And she was strong.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
She was full of love, and God's love spilled over.
Can I get a shot of the outside? Can we go outside here? I mean, this place is unreal. It's really one of the prettiest structures in Cleveland County, you know?
That's what we wanted. We wanted like an old-timey church and funeral home.
That's what it looks like.
Days.
Well, Cecil, thank you for taking the time out.
Oh, I'm honored.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Thank you.